Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about heart connections. I wore my heart sparkly shirt today since Valentine's Day is tomorrow. I thought we would share a little bit on heart connections and intimacy. I shared a couple weeks ago at church about intimacy up close and personal with God, and I just wanted to go a little further in that with not only our relationship with the Lord, but in our personal relationships as well. So many of you may not know that Dan is an only child, my husband, and I was raised an only child most of my life until adulthood. And so we had two only children. My husband is an extrovert. I'm an introvert. My husband's love language is touch and service. My love language is time. So you can imagine when he would try to love on me with his love language, and my love language was completely different. Both being only children, me wanting to hide away in my room a lot and him wanting to talk all the time. We had some adjustments to get close to each other and to learn how to get close to each other in our relationship. So I want to talk about all relationships in general, not just marriage relationships or the Lord's relationship with the Lord and going deeper with him, but those are my constants and going to be my go-to the most often. So you can have the head knowledge that you're in a relationship with someone or that you're friends with someone or in a marriage, but there's a difference between a head knowledge and a true heart connection. So when we're looking at our head knowledge with Christ, we know that we are going to enter heaven because we crossed all of our T's and we dotted all of our I's. In John 5:24, most assuredly I say to you, he who hears my word and believes in him who sent me has everlasting life and shall not come into judgment, but has passed from death to life. Now with our relationship with the Lord, we can know and have an understanding and an acceptance and know that we're going to go to heaven. And we can stop there. But God has so much more for us in the investment of our up close and personal, intimate relationship with him. We want a deep connection. You can be confident in your relationships. You can be confident in your friendships. You can be confident in your marriage. But you can miss out on the deep connection, or you can actually disconnect in different seasons of life depending on your actions that you're following. We've heard the scripture that love is patient, love is kind, love is everlasting, it does not boast, it does not envy. Love is an action, and when we are actively seeking intimacy and we're actively pursuing up close and personal, you're going to be more connected than when you're not. So heart connection takes investment. For our relationship with the Lord, that investment is prayer. You want to communicate with him. That is an opening of our heart. That's a being raw and being real and just connecting through talking to him. We get connected by investing in the word, by spending time in the word. His heart for us is what the word is. So when we're reading the word, we know what he plans for us, what he calls for us, what he calls us, and how we identify in him. That is his heart for us. And then we want to worship. We want to invest in worship. And that is our heart for him. We're sharing our heart and our adoration and our praise for what he's done by lifting him up in worship. So let's look at that in our everyday natural relationships. You want to invest in your relationships. You want to take time to communicate. You want to take time to listen to the heart of your partner. And you want to give your heart to your partner or your friend. Now, I have been counseling married couples in the past that are really having a hard time with intimacy, and they don't understand why they're missing a disconnect. And my first question is, how much time are you investing in the other one? How much time are you spending investing in communication, listening to their heart, and lifting them up with your words and your actions? Heart connection also takes pursuit. You need to pursue the ones that you love. A lack of pursuit can lead to stilled relationship growth. Resentment can turn into resistance. So if you're not pursuing someone and then they start feeling resentment, you really can turn that into resistance. And what's holding you back from pursuing the Lord? anger, bitterness, or hurt? Are you resenting him and you're just kind of walling that part up? Because we're called to pursue him. He is constantly pursuing us and is right there. The second that we take the time to pursue him and invest in him, he's right there ready to connect. So we need to just keep opening that doorway to connect with him. We may not even realize how long it's been since we have felt connected to the Lord. All the mess comes at us and all the busyness of life comes at us. And that can be the same way with other people and other relationships, is we just get too busy, or we get angry, or we get resentment, and we just stop pursuing them, or we just don't take the time to pursue them or even know how important it is. I mean, I've had relationships that I've actually just walked away from when I was the one that was constantly doing the pursuing. And I don't know that it was necessarily healthy, but for me, it's a really lonely place to be the only one to always pursue. So I really want to encourage you, if you're having a disconnect with a relationship or a friendship, pursue that person. Pick up the phone. Really invest in them. So also, heart connection takes transparency. We need to be able to be vulnerable and expose ourselves, to the Lord, to other people. We need to be willing to expose ourselves and to say, hey, I have a problem with this, or I'm really struggling here. I had mentioned at church a couple weeks ago that I hate crying in front of people. Like, I hate it. And so when Dan and I would argue and I would get really upset, I would ugly cry all over the place, and I would go try to hide under my blankets, or hide in the room, or shut the door, like, leave me alone, let me get over this, let me calm down, and I'll come talk to you. And I was not being vulnerable and allowing myself to be exposed to him. I was hiding away and not letting my heart connect with him in that way. Well, ugly cry all over the place. When I lost my dad, when he passed away, I could not hold back. I had to go to Dan and other people at church for comfort when the emotions would hit me all over the place. And I felt truly connected in a whole new way by letting people see that ugly side of me that I don't like. Society tells us that we have to hide the ugly. We have to be strong. We can't be vulnerable. You're told as a little kid, toughen up, get over it. And in reality, what that does is it builds walls. It builds walls around our heart, and it builds walls around us. And then when we're not letting people in where our tender spots need to be loved on and hugged on. And so even recently, I was having a hard time with something going on in my life, and I really had to expose myself and be vulnerable and ask a friend, hey, I need to bring this topic to you because it's really hurting, and I need you to be honest with me. Sometimes dealing with hurt is better than just letting the lies of the enemy come in and after you, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough. And sometimes it's best and healthy to say, am I enough? Am I not? What do I need to do? Where is the disconnect? Where's the mistake? Where am I not getting it? And opening myself in that vulnerable spot and being real instead of just hiding away and letting the enemy throw all these lies at me really took our relationship to a next level. You don't want to be complaining all the time. You don't want to be a mess all the time. You really want to ask the Lord, when is it my flesh, and when is this a real heart issue that needs to be dealt with? And deal with it and bring it to him, and be transparent. Be transparent with your friends and your family and your loved ones. And remember that it's not a woe is me. It's exposing my weak so that God can make us strong. It's exposing the mess so that not going to man for the strength, but going to God for the strength and being willing to say, I'm struggling right now. Jacob asks, is there a balance, a right time to pursue and a right time to be pursued? I say that if you are in relationship with a friend or the Lord, or in a marriage, anytime that you're feeling disconnected is a good time to pursue. You don't want to smother someone. Like Dan, he is great at pursuing. He's great at always being there, ready to talk. And I'm one, like I said, an introvert that needs my space. So when it comes to human relationships, I would say to just prayerfully seek what the other person needs. And if you're feeling a disconnect, say, God, what is that person needing? How can I pursue them? It could be a quick note, a line, thinking about you today, friend. Hope you're doing well. That may not be as invasive as a phone call. I am not one that is huge on phone calls. So when Dan leaves me little notes, hey, Annie, thinking of you, that's pursuit. Or with God, when you continually need to pursue him. There's no limits on how much you can pursue God, because the benefits far outweigh anything else. I mean, I have actually gotten exhausted lately. I have been pursuing him so much. I have been reading so much and praying so much and worshiping so much that in that quiet and that stillness and that rest, he meets me, and it has been amazing, and it's been promise after promise after promise, and he's so faithful. So when it comes to pursuing God, I don't think we can under pursue him, but definitely if you're feeling disconnected with somebody, pursue. Or if you've let somebody down, be willing to say, I'm sorry I let you down. I'm sorry I haven't been available. I would like to fix that. I am thinking about you. So I want to encourage you guys in that way. Relationships are work. Relationship with God, relationship with our spouse, relationship with our friends, our parents. It's work. And I will say I get so busy at times that I neglect other relationships. And you have to be willing to say, I'm sorry, I have neglected this. I allowed busyness to get in my way. It is so important to connect intimately, heart connection, beyond the head knowledge, beyond the, oh, I know that person, but to really know their heart and take time to know their heart and invest in them. They are worth it. You're worth that investment, because when you invest in others, it comes back on you. I want to encourage you. Hey, gorgeous Brooke, love you. I do want to encourage you guys that if you're not, I'm not talking marriage relationship right now. Marriage relationship, you always put in, you always work. Love is always an action. But if you are in a friendship where you are constantly pouring in and they're sucking everything out of you, and you are tired and you're exhausted, or you're just constantly hurt because of the indifference, really go to the Lord and pray about what relationships you need to be investing in and who he has for you in your life at the moment. Hi, Danielle. You're right. A quick text or just we're so good with technology. We always have it in our hands. So if somebody comes to thought, don't pass it off. Send a quick text thinking of you, or a cute little picture, or, just something to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. That can go a long way. You don't know what people are going through in their life. You don't know where the struggles are. Or what they're facing. And if you're really listening to the prompting of that person coming to your mind in that moment and take action on it, they are going to be so benefited and so blessed, because a lot of times I find when people pop into your mind, it's because they're going through something, or they could just really use a word from you. So that's what I have on intimacy, up close and personal today. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so I want to encourage you, if you have friends that have been lonely, or if you know of anyone that's just really going through a difficult season, send them a quick thinking of you, love you for Valentine's Day. It can mean the world to somebody to be thought of. So blessings, everybody, and have a great rest of your week.